Welcome to Electrified. It's your host, Dylan Loomis. Quick shout out to my newest patrons, Charles H., Randall R., Michael L., Vincent C., and Paul H. Thank you for choosing to support the channel. As you can see on Tesla's career page, they currently have 13 different job postings listed across Europe with ADAS in the title. Places like the UK, Finland, Switzerland, Spain, Norway, Italy, Turkey, Austria, Netherlands, Sweden, and so on. Here's the job posting for Tesla's ADAS test operator, but here's the truth of the situation. In March of 2021, Tesla posted this same job in Canada. It was actually not until March 2022 that FSD beta became available to customers in Canada. So yes, it's great to see this testing underway, but there's most likely still a multi-month wait ahead for people to get FSD beta over in Europe. Here we have data from RoMotion, and year to date globally 3.4 million EVs have been sold, which is actually up 34% over the same time period last year. And when it comes to the top 5 EVs sold globally, the Model Y is number 1 far and away, and the Model 3 is still number 2. I always love zooming out and seeing this high level data. So has the Model Y cannibalized some Model 3 sales? Sure. And is there some Osborne effect going on with the Model 3? Sure, but it's still doing well enough. And of all of the electric vehicles sold this year, 71% are full BEV and 29% are plug-in hybrid. We got Tesla's weekly insured data, and the number, 14,500. Plugging that data into the table, if you wanted to compare it to the same week in Q1, that number was 13,266. In Q1, from week 1 to week 9, the total was 71,106. And from week 1 to week 9 in Q2, that number 94,363. So with about 4 weeks left, yes, we are on track for another record quarter. It's now official. If you go to fueleconomy.gov, you will see all of the Tesla Model 3 and Model Y vehicles now qualify for the full tax credit. It's a beautiful thing. With so many clickbaity and nonsense Tesla headlines out there in the mainstream media, every now and then you get one like this, and it's just nice to look at for a second or two. How's that possible? Well, with the base Model 3 starting at $40.2 thousand, take off $7,500 from the federal tax credit and another $7,500 from a California credit, that gets you down to $25.2 thousand, lower than the starting price of a Toyota Camry at $26.3 thousand. Now, yes, one would have to qualify for these credits and rebates, but they're there. Honestly, my biggest question when it comes to the Model 3, not what Project Highland will look like, but what will the cost of goods sold for that new vehicle be? I know those of you in upstate New York will greatly appreciate this one, as we have Oneida Indian Nation partnering with Tesla to open up a new showroom and, yes, delivery center. There will be a bit of a wait, not expected to open until 2025, but this is Tesla's first sales, service, and delivery center in the region, saving people a multi-hour drive down south. Finally, the legal battle that Elon and Tesla have been tied up in with regard to the Solar City purchase back in 2016 is actually now over. Basically, Tesla shareholders were appealing the ruling that took place in 2022, but a trial court came to the conclusion that Tesla and Elon paid a fair price for the company, saying the trial court's opinion is replete with factual findings and credibility determinations. Those determinations have not been challenged and decidedly weigh in favor of Musk. Great to see this one finally come to an end. Here we have an article from Reuters, and some industry analysts are saying we're now probably locked into having two separate charging standards coexisting for the foreseeable future. There's going to continue to be a standards war for a decade or more. I just want to say, honestly, I think the longer this drags on, the more beneficial it will be for Tesla and Ford. All of the other companies will be manufacturing vehicles with CCS, investing in that supply chain. Then their customers are going to realize that the CCS network is just subpar at best and unreliable. Further, it's likely not going to get much better because, one, public charging is not really a money printing business, and second, a lot of these small startups don't really have deep pockets to be spending too much money to improve the technology or the infrastructure. Honestly, their main incentive right now is money from the federal government, but if some of that funding actually shifts to the NACS standard and Tesla and Ford don't have to have CCS charging charging connectors to get some of that money, it would put those startups building out the CCS network in an even more precarious situation. And look at this to actually prove that point. This company, Charger Help, is actually a company that exists only to fix broken EV charging stations that were not built that long ago. Some of you remember the study done by UC Berkeley that said around a quarter of the public charging stations actually didn't work. And I have to share this point in the midst of all of the technology and money and profits and competition and all of that. This lady that works for Charger Help said, mass EV adoption is really important to me. My mom passed away from lung cancer about a year and a half ago. I live in a community where we have very poor air quality. Getting folks to trust infrastructure to drive electric sits near and dear to my heart. Just so you know, Tesla Q, the mainstream media, will undoubtedly blow this one totally out of proportion. What we have here is somebody who worked in supply chain at Tesla and had his hand in some things with the Cybertruck, left to go to Rivian. That person, Mustafa El Akari, who has not updated his LinkedIn page yet, but he spent the last 4.5 years at Tesla with a fairly extensive experience list. At Rivian, he's set to become the Senior Director of Structures and Raw Materials. So honestly, good for Rivian. I know Rob touched on this one last night, but I just wanted to add some quotes he may have missed. Tesla recently told Panasonic they would buy as many batteries as Panasonic can make, applying the pressure. In response, Panasonic will add a 15th production line to Giga Nevada, go into operation in a year or two. They said the facility is already crammed, we can add just one more. And importantly, the way I'm reading between the lines, Tesla is okay delaying some of the 4680 production because Panasonic can make the 2170s a bit faster and maybe a few months faster, and that's just where all the money is right now from the IRA incentives. I just didn't want to gloss over this one because last year only 6% of new cars sold were electric vehicles in the United States. So if we're on our way to 20 plus, Tesla's definitely going to need all the batteries it can get. And I know a few quarters ago, Tesla said they're no longer battery constrained, but it does not mean that will be the situation into perpetuity. We get a teaser of the first electric vehicle from Acura coming in 2024. One of the first things they're highlighting, optimized route planning for recharging. They also mentioned features like Google Assistant. It'll have many built-in Google apps in the UI. They talk about a digital driver instrumentation display, and they say 100% of Acura EV sales taking place online starting in early 2024 will be the ZDX and the ZDX Type S. We have not yet seen a non-camouflaged version of this car, but over the years, I've definitely liked some Acura vehicles, so I'm looking forward to seeing this one. From the GM Authority blog, it looks like Chevy has started early production models of the upcoming Chevy Equinox, scheduled to go on sale later this year. This at the plant in Mexico. This will be built on their new upcoming EV platform, the BEV3. Although this is a CTF vehicle, meaning a captured test fleet, that's really just for evaluation purposes, they're saying it's being built with a VIN, meaning it could be sold at a later date. We like to give Mary and GM a hard time, but if they can sell this vehicle for $30,000 with a range over 250 miles, people will definitely buy it. We have Electrek reporting there was a Rivian R1T fire as it was charging at an Electrify America station. However, this actually wasn't involving the battery pack. There's nothing official yet, but the word is that it may have actually started at the charge port, which is usually right up here on the front driver side of the R1T. Not usually, always. I think it's important to know though, sometimes these fires that start during charging can be a sign of a problem with the vehicle or a component that may lead to a recall in the future, so just wanted to get it out there. So we had one legal situation ending for Tesla, and now a new one has opened. If nothing else, this Zhang Yazoo is definitely getting her 5 minutes of fame. So initial hearings have begun, but this one is actually a Tesla lawsuit directed at Zhang and not the reverse. Because her standing on the car shouting about Tesla's brake failures really damaged the reputation of Tesla during that time. So far, Zhang has filed a counterclaim, and that's really all we know. And this racism suit against Tesla stemming from Marcus Vaughn is also not going away. Now he's looking to move this to a class action lawsuit. Court filing says he has sworn statements from 240 other black former employees and contractors who claim they too were offended by graffiti and other things around the factory. A hearing on his request is scheduled for July 14th. A member on the Rivian forums found a document with some data on the EPA data for the Rivian R1S dual motor. Depending on the tire configuration for the R1S dual motor, range will be between 306 and 352 miles. And also for the R1S set to come later this year, Rivian has the Max Pack set to debut, which could take R1S range up to 400 miles. And they're thinking that same pack on the R1T could take that to 450 miles. And here's the most recent update from Rivian on the dual motor and large and dual motor and Max Pack deliveries. Tesla is now offering a new incentive program in the UK for people trading in their gas or diesel cars. But so far, it's for the month of June only, and only for customers whose cars have a trade-in value of 2,000 quid or less. For example, if you have a gas trade-in valued at 2,000 quid, you can get a discount of 4,000 quid on a new Model 3 or Model Y. In case any of you are in the 137 people affected by this Model Y physical recall where the fastener for the steering wheel may be loose, check your app. A service center may need to tighten it for you. In case you're looking, we're now seeing some Model 3 long range added to Tesla's inventory. And yes, some like this one are discounted $500. You can find me on Twitter at DylanLoomis22. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Please like the video if you did, and a huge thank you to all of my Patreon supporters.